what we have in the Kim's kit as we await that determination of that case or further deliberations. I don't know who went to court, but I'm sure the lawyers then can advise on the way forward. Instead of us discussing here, because the matter's in court, I think we leave it that way for now. We shall print the register as we wait for other deliberations in court and or any other forms of discussions and settlement. I think that will be the way out for this matter. We can move on to the next item.
There is one aspect you have not still handled. The issue of whether you can allow accountability and verifiability of the content that is being loaded, whether the commission is open enough to allow political parties to observe the process of what is being loaded into the Kim's kit.
Yes, I got your question. I thought the CEO attempted to answer it. We have a factory where we are processing the Kim's kit. We can ask the presidential candidates to join me on a tour of that factory. You'll observe what's happening. We have not reached the stage where we are loading the data, but the kits have been being prepared. And any time now, we can agree on a date when we can tour. Maybe then we can be able to be on the same page. I think that would be good for transparency of the process. So, yes. Presidential candidates or their agents. That's. Yeah, we can work around that. Let's agree on that. But a very small number of maybe maximum 2 people from each side, because of the sensitivity of the process. So we are open to that. I think the team then, the CEO, can liaise with the good thing is that you are not many, so we can arrange this quickly, and you're all here. By the end of this session, we can agree.
Just on a related matter to that, the law mandates the commission to set up a technology committee. I don't know when you're going to be setting that one up. I think a lot of the technical issues we are discussing will be thrashed out if you set up that technology committee and have stakeholders be part of it.
Okay. 2017, we had a committee, and somebody went to court, and that provision of the law was declared unconstitutional. So that committee was ceased to exist. So we shall not have a committee with the stakeholders, but we are available to engage, and you work with us this journey. So we shall arrange that team by the end of today. We shall agree which date we are going to the factory, and we see the processes ongoing there. So thank you. Can we wrap this up?
Mr. Yes. Chairman, I just thought the neater way to wrap it up. What is being questioned is not identification, electronic identification. It's the issue of complementarity. So our ending note should be, it's quite clear that the primary method is electronic. The issue now left open for the court is the complementarity, so that we are clear and we move on. And we'll appreciate short, precise interventions, short, precise answers, so that we can finish.
Just one last thing, Mr. Chairman. You know, it is on record that in 2017, 2.5 million voters were not identified through the Kim's kits. And those Kim kits in 2017 were still new. We have been keeping them in storage for the last 5 years. We have already been told that 4,000 of them are defective. 4,000 out of 46,000 is a big percentage. So therefore, we really are not saying we are opposed to technology. In fact, we are not saying that technology should not be applied. But what should be noted also is that our elections are not 100% technology based. technology is a small part of this election. The rest of the election, by law and by practice, is actually manual. The casting of the vote is manual. And a big part of it is actually the casting of the ballot. So therefore, we are not saying we have a problem with technology at all. We also know, Mr. Chairman, that these gadgets...
Are we reopening the conversation again?
No.
On the
it's just
register?
to expand the areas of conversation. And, these gadgets will be used by human beings. They will not use themselves. And we have a concern, Mr. Chairman, concerning the personnel that has already been appointed by this commission. That concern was expressed by our presidential candidate in his letter to the commission on the 5th of this month. Mr. Chairman, we have noted some very worrying trends with ethnic imbalance of returning officers both at the county and at the constituency level. This country is a country of at least 50 ethnic groups. But we have noted that out of 47 county returning officers, nearly 10 are from one community. Out of 47.
Can I give some direction here?
Out
because
of 200.
What you are raising now is a totally new issue, which we have no problem discussing, but I thought we need to move in a structured manner. Let's finish with the agenda of the day, then we can address that issue. And I remember addressing it in the correspondence between Asmio and ourselves. We can revisit it now and make clarity on it, but I suggest we finish the agenda of the day. Yes. Yeah, then we can deal with that issue.
But that's an issue we want to put on record today.
Yes, I have no problem with that. We are here for you. But let's just finish the issue of the results part, then we can take a note of, you can complete that line. Thank you. Yeah, Marjan, please proceed on the result part. Then if you have any other question, please hold it so that we can move in a structured manner. But I agree that the primary identification is the biometric. The commission will prepare the registers because we don't have time to wait for the outcome of the court. We shall run out of time. The decision then to make is subject to the court judgment or ruling, whatever will come out, is whether to use the register in the manner we used 2017 or whether we shall have the register at the polling stations, and if it's required, if the KIMS kits fail, then the commission will have to make a decision whether to use it or not. I think those are areas we can revisit when the matter comes up in court. So, Marjan, proceed. I'm trying to move this meeting forward, and I know we have the ladies and gentlemen in this room, you want to run out and start seeing your voters out there, so we don't want to be here the whole day. Is it about the register?
Chairman, and I do apologize that I had to interrupt, but I appreciate the fact that you agree that you will prepare to have the manual register as a backup, as a secondary document, should the courts uphold and extend their current interim orders. But as we say that, we need to agree on what are the protocols, because by the time you escalate to fall back on the secondary document, which is the manual register, it should be agreed that this will happen, all agents will have agreed, it's escalated to this level, and approval will come at this level. So it's just not there for you when people feel like it. There has to be protocols agreed here on that point. So I hope we'll work on that going forward. Thank you.
Yes, your comment is noted. Thank you.
I wanted somebody to project the
And briefly, not much detail, just yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much. So it's about the results part. So what normally will happen after voting has been done, counting has been completed, the results from 34A is going to be filled by the presiding officer after the counting, and this results is going to be confirmed by the agents. Once they confirm, then the returning officer, the presiding officer, sorry, and the agents will sign the Form 34A. After signing the Form 34A, the presiding officer will now launch the results transmission application, and after that, they will capture the image of the Form 34A and transmit the Form 34A to the National Tallying Center as well as the Constituency Tallying Center. And thereafter, the presiding officer will give copies of the Form 34As to all the agents. One copy is going to be pasted on the ballot box. One copy is going to be pasted at the door of the polling station. And after that, the presiding officer will then now move physically with the physical documents, that is the Form 34As, to the Constituency Tallying Center. The Constituency Tallying Center returning officer is going to receive the Form 34As, and of course, before that, we would have been in a position to access the images of what was scanned before and sent at the polling station. So through our backend system, the returning officer is in a position to access the images of the Form 34As for the respective constituency. The returning officer, even as they are waiting for the physical copies to come, they will basically populate the information using the image to the Form 34B. Form 34B is a collation of all the Form 34As. Once all the polling stations have been populated, we will use now the physical copy to verify again, entry one by one. The physical copies received will be used to verify all entries in each and every polling station in presence of the political party agents. Once that one now is done, then the agents again will sign the Form 34B plus the returning officer and the deputy returning officer. Then from there, the physical copies again will be taken by the returning officer to the National Tallying Center returning officer, who is the chairman. And I wanted to just state maybe what is going to happen at the tallying center. We will have of course, when the presiding officers goes to the constituency tallying center, they will go with 6 ballot boxes, presidential, governor, and the rest. So it will be expected that he will have to work and make sure that all those announcements are basically made for each and every polling station, because the returning officer for each and every polling station results come, he must be able to announce that. And therefore, he will be expected to announce all of them. But because of the importance of the presidential results, and this time that's why we have recruited two deputy returning officers. So the returning officer can now be relieved to take the physical copies to the national returning officer. And the national returning officer also will be in a position to access the scanned image of the Form 34As. And also, if they want, they can be able to start preparing their Form 34C. But a suffice to say that Form 34B is the soft copy will also be scanned and also be transmitted to our backend servers. And therefore, what is going to be available for the purpose of public and for the purpose of stakeholders is going to be the scanned copies of Form 34As as well as Form 34Bs. And at the National Tallying Center, they will be handing over and taking over of the physical forms that have been received from the returning officers. the chairman and of course his team, they will actually use the Form 34Bs that have been brought to them to verify all the entries of the polling stations using the physical Form 34As. And after verifying all of them, they will now be able to prepare Form 34C. Of course, as they do that, they pay attention to any errors that may actually occur. These errors are going to be recorded in error collection form, and this report is also going to be presented. In essence, the National Returning Officer must satisfy himself all the entries in the Form 34Cs have been physically verified by the Form 34As, and that the agents present are also going to validate the same. And finally, then the Form 34C is going to be signed by the National Returning Officers, as well as the political party agents. It's only after that then the chairman can be able to declare who is the winner. Suppose there is no winner because no one has met the 50% plus one margin and the 25% of the majority county, then it means that a runoff is going to be there, and the chairman is going to declare accordingly that in the next 30 days, then there's going to be a runoff. So that's a simple projection in terms of how the results is going to be sent from one point to the other. Thank you very much.
In all this, what we are saying as a commission is that all the presidential candidates, we are encouraged to have agents in all polling stations. Your agents will have copies of the results. Please train your agents, find a way of also doing your own tabulations. We also had a meeting with the media. A fraternity will be deployed in the 290 constituencies. For purpose of transparency, the results belong to the people of Kenya. And the commission will do its part, ensure that all the results are transmitted. There will be a public portal for the media, for the transmitted scanned copies of the forms. The images of the forms arriving at the National Tallying Center will be verified against the physical copies. Before then, the commission prepares that 4C. So all those measures form part of the results path. So let's now have your input, comments, starting with the SMEO. Then we move to UDA. Gano, if you have anything, and Roots Party in that order. Thank you.
I think you'll allow me to cover a few points, all related and very, very fast. One of them is the issue of agents. The perennial complaint in every petition, whether presidential or gubernatorial, like I participated in, is kicking out of the agents by your presiding officers. So to enhance transparency, we are proposing that you not only release the identification badges for agents to candidates 2 days before, but that identification plus the oath are the only thing an agent needs to get access, and your officers must not have any authority to send out an agent unless if an agent commits a criminal offense, in which case the police at that polling station will have recorded that incident. I want to agree with your proposal that agents should sign. Therefore, the presence of the agent, unless if they have committed a criminal offense and the party is at liberty to replace, the signing of the result form 34A and in all other elections by the agents ought to be mandatory, and your form should have a column for the agent to say, I agree or disagree with the results. We also want, it's good you are transmitting the results. You have promised us copies, but you've been printing only 6 copies. of the form, 4 of which are for use by the Commission. As you can see in this presidential election, we have 4 presidential candidates. Therefore, 2 copies are not enough. We don't want to ask you to print more copies and incur more money for the government. We just want the right as agents to be able to take WhatsApp images of the form once it is ready. That way, whatever you transmit electronically cannot have vifaranga via computer, because the form will be out, everybody will have it, and the press, if they are in the room, will also have it. The gag on announcing what is tallied at the station should be removed. When either the press or other people say how many votes were garnered, and they are on that form, they are not making the official announcement, they are giving the provision, they just say, this is what we witnessed. That enhances transparency. So 2 things. Your officers must not have the right to send out agents unless if there is an incident recorded by the police and the party has a right to replace. Number 2, WhatsApp images. Those who are able to have smartphones, and I'm certain that in every room there will be at least 1 or 2 people with a smartphone. We must take WhatsApp images. The story of the vifaranga via computer will die at that stage, and that will enhance the transparency of the elections, which is ordered or commanded by Article 86 of the Constitution. On the door. Oh, sorry, only 1 point. I'm being reminded by my principal that the order of counting in every polling station, it should be clear that they start with the presidential ballot. They don't always do so. I've been at polling stations where it is not done that way. So let the commission be clear. And finally, people commit deliberate electoral offenses. That is employees of the commission, and they hide behind the word commission. We want to request you to unequivocally and publicly tell your officers that anybody who violates the electoral code deliberately, we will face the law individually. Last year I tried to privately prosecute 3 of your officers. Now that we are busy in elections, I may drop the appeal, but we need them to know that it is personal responsibility. The elephant called the commission must be dissected to that polling clerk, to that candidate, to everybody. Thank you. So that we don't come back, I'm being reminded that oh, okay. I think the audit report had already been asked in the previous by our competition in UDA, and I think we are in agreement that yes, we need the audit report by KPMG, but that now can also be bared to us as we inspect your factory.
Thank you. UDA.
Thank you, Chair. On the 9th of June, when you invited party representatives, candidates, and their agents to simulate the electronic transmission, result transmission system, the stakeholders pointed quite a number of shortcomings on that system that was presented to us. Number 1, it was not user-friendly. We asked you to make it user-friendly. And the second, there were also a number of other bottlenecks, particularly transmission and the time it was taking for information to be transmitted from a polling station to you. I think we would like to know what effort has been made, or whether you're going to be doing another simulation that includes the comments we had made. Second, we fully embrace the system of the results forms pathway that you have presented. The bigger concern is on the transmission of the results from the polling station direct to the National Tally Center. And we will ask the Commission to share with the chief agents the GPS coordinates of all the KIMS kit. I think it's critical so that we can know it is actually the KIMS kit that was deployed to that polling station that is transmitting, but also provide a backup access to chief agents so that they are able to confirm the GPS of the KIMS kits as they transmit the results. We will also want you to make assurance not only to us but also to the public on the public portal will be accessible even when many Kenyans are logging in. I think we need that assurance that information will be available at any particular time. And of course, I know the Commission has asked parties to have one agent in a polling station. We are asking you allow candidates also that are going to be in this election to be able to have agents to represent them in the various polling stations where voters will be voting. Thank you. Unless my colleagues wants to add, I think Dr. Linda Musumba is head of legal in Presidential Secretariat.
Chair, I don't know whether you can hear me, but during the 2017 petition, the question arose about the presidential, ballots, being more than the others, and then the issue arose that people are preferring to vote for the president rather than the others. But the question arose, what happens to the other five?
Say that again. There's a bit of noise here.
Sorry, Chair, I was asking, during the 2017 presidential election petition, the question arose, what happens to the other 5 ballot papers where a person does not wish to vote for the president? And the Commission, through that process, explained that each ballot paper, even if one elects not to mark it, ought to put it inside the different ballot boxes. So we just wanted to know the accountability mechanism that the Commission has put in place to ensure that if we're going to get 2,000, let's say, votes in a ballot box for presidential, that we shall get the same number in the others, so that we don't have a situation where ballot papers in the presidential are many more than in the other boxes. We just wanted that accountability mechanism to be explained. Thank you.
Yes, now on the, let's finish with UDA. You're done. Go to Agano. Then I see Asmio is not done yet. But let's finish with Agano first. Yeah.
Asanti mwenyekiti, yangu tu ni kuongezea yale yamesemwa na wenzangu na kusema hivi, ningependa kuomba commission ya kwamba muongezee matangazo ya kuwaelimisha Wakenya kuhusu haki zao kwa polling station. Ni ukweli wa kwamba returning officer hawa wenyu hata hao wanarigi kushinda wengine wote. They confuse people. They act like they are small gods. And if you don't have an agent, you are at their mercy in the particular place. Na kaza kama mimi sijui kama nitaweza kupata maagent kote, Madera na kwingineko. Unajua mimi sina pesa ya serikali ama ya kashfa ya kuandika maagent popote. And I have seen them do these things. But let me finish my point. Let me stick to the point.
Let's have some decorum in the meeting.
No. Yeah, I'm talking the truth. Please run more campaigns, please, on educating on their rights. I agree with the honorable running mate. Allow people to use electronic gadgets to capture what's happening, because there's a lot of abuse that goes on there. And one more point from us, Bishop, very quickly.
We want to seek leave, attend to other matters, but we have a very robust team behind us. We apologize for leaving before the end. But duty call.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. My question is just direct to the point. CEO has just told us that every Kenyan who is legitimate to vote has right to vote. I don't know what arrangements are in place regards the people who are likely to be in the hospital or possibly they are not fully incapacitated. Others are aged at home. What are the arrangements to have them receive their legal right to vote? Thank you.
Yes, we want to deal with those comments.
Mr. Chair.
Is it about the results?
Yes.
Yes, transmission.